I'm going to work on mixing up the color for the skin tone. And so I'm going to grab this white. This is titanium white. It's got a little bit of yellow ochre in it already there. So we're going to mix some yellow ochre in. Looks like we need a little more. Dog hair stuck to it. So be careful because I was dipping into that yellow ochre with the blue on my brush, so I've got some blue in there. Although that would just cool the skin tone down, so that wouldn't be terrible. But let me mix this in. Like I need a little bit more. Still pretty pale. Get some of that off of there, and some of this is dry. Might need to get some more yellow ochre on the board here. Let's see here. Okay, so I got some more yellow ochre. I think I'm going to try, this is burnt sienna. I'm going to add just a touch of that. That's going to help to add to the little bit of reddish tone and help to darken it up just a touch too. So let's mix that in and see how that looks. That's making it a little bit pinker. It's close. I think I still want just a little bit more pink in it. So I have permanent rose up here, which I just want just a touch, just the tiniest little bit. Let's see if I can work that in. What do we think of that? That's not bad. And then as I'm working with it, I'll darken it and I'll add highlights to it. So this will be kind of the mid-tone, and where the light hits him, I might add a little bit more of the yellow ochre, some of the titanium white. But as for a mid-tone, I think that this will work out, and we can go from there. All right, so I'm going to start coming in and getting the color in. I'm adding some liquid to my paint real quick before I start using it. And I just add it right at the edge of the color. I don't mix it into the whole pile of paint. So remember, we painted over the edges, so I'll be kind of laying those edges back in, and his hair is going to come down here too. So and there'll be a shadow there where his collar disappears into his shirt. I don't know why I made his ear so big. Maybe some of his hair will come down and cover his ear. His ear looks enormous, doesn't it? There's his eye and his little eyebrow. He's got a cute little nose. So I'm doing the big color areas with this larger brush. I will be switching to a smaller brush here shortly. It's just trying to kind of get some of this in here. I thought I went out over the sky color there, but I don't think I did. I think that's okay. So just filling in the big areas. Like I said earlier, I'll need to reshape right there. Some of this blue came over his arm, which that's not dry yet, so I need to be a little careful there. And I never did decide what color I'm going to make his leg brace. Maybe it'll be white, but because it's in shadow, it'll have a bit of a gray cast to it. And this color that I mixed is somewhat transparent. As you can see, we can still see the highlight that I put back there when I was blocking that in, and that's okay. That will actually help us having that highlight there. I'm sorry, shadow. It's not a highlight, it's a shadow. So we can work with that for sure. And since I started this, and I'm using liquid, I'm really going to have to finish this. So it's not like I could paint a little bit and then leave it for tomorrow. I couldn't even leave it for later today, so the liquid will dry that fast. So if I was going to come in and redo a part of this later on, I would need to basically paint over it because of the liquid. So, and I've had to do that sometimes in the past too. It's not terrible. I mean, it basically acts like a blocked in area, so still manageable. And Basil's tail kind of covers part of the brace right there. Going to be a little edge, a little shadow edge of the brace, but we're also going to have to come in and put shadow on his skin as well, because it's inside and behind the brace, basically. So put this in, and then we'll manage that. All right, so got the big colors in. Now I can switch to a smaller brush. Oh, don't want to forget that other leg, like I did when I was painting it the other day, blocking it in. I missed the other leg, although I did that leg and then forgot this one. So equal treatment for both legs, I suppose. And his arm. Wow, I'm forgetting half the kid. All right, so now here is one of the things. You see, I can see some of the grass color through my skin tone. So what I might need to do is go in with an opaque color like white and get that kind of masked. Or I could just let this dry and try to come in with some more of the skin tone color. I guess that's one of the things that you do have to watch out for when you're painting over that edge. Is now I can see grass through there. So if I grab some of this white here, let me see. I mean, he's going to need a highlight on his knee anyway, right? Not a bright white highlight. I can let that sit for a bit. And then maybe I can come back in. Whoops. Look, I just gave him a bump on his knee. On his leg. Gotta fix his leg. There. And let's do his hand. Coming out from behind Basil's back. Cuddly little fox. So in this story, I think I said this in one of the other videos, Basil helps Tommy because he gets nervous during his first trip to Stony Brook. Basil helps him out. So that's what he's doing here. It's making him feel brave. And looks like we still have some of the leg back there. That's going to be in shadow. Okay, put that big brush down. Let me get my poor little, what is it, zero flat. With the split hairs. I actually have a new set of brushes coming in. I don't think I got one of these though. There was this thing I saw on Facebook. You know, I'm leery of buying anything off of Facebook. But there's a thing for you to rest your hand on while you're painting. And it clips onto the sides of the canvas, and you can angle it however you want. I may have to look into that. Because I tend to just rest my arm up here, which I guess that works too. I should paint his teeth. Since they are technically behind his lips, we want to paint them first. So let's get a little tiny brush. He got some nice bright white teeth. He's got to have, they wouldn't be white. Nobody's teeth are actually that white, unless they're paying to have them that white. Let's see, so we'll need a shadow color. A little bit of Van Dyke Brown maybe for the shadow. Super tiny brush. I barely. I don't really like the way this looks. Oh, being self-taught, it's all trial and error, isn't it? Let's see here. First of all, I have a hair sticking off the end of my brush. It's not helping anything. Well, his teeth are looking weirder and weirder. What if we just go back to just having white there? And I'll try to maybe look up some YouTube videos, how to paint teeth. He's going to need lips anyway, so that'll help once he has his lips. All right, let's see here. So we have all this in. His forehead. Need to kind of make sure his chin looks better. Got his fingers in. This is running into the kind of background light color. So I'm gonna that little bit that I just did, I did without any liquid in it because I wanted it to be able to stand up to the color that's there and not disappear into it. The liquid thins it a bit, and so I didn't want it to be thinned. And right here where it meets his shirt, I'm not going to touch that yet because that's going to need a shadow color. Alright, so I think I will start. I'm going to take some of the burnt sienna, mix that with a bit of the skin tone to darken it up, start trying to get a shadow color going. I have way too much paint on my brush. Let me wipe some of that off. Here we go. Okay, so we come in with the shadow, and technically I should have done this before I did the shirt. I think this helps to highlight why. Because, we worked so hard on getting the collar of the shirt right. Now we have to come in here and try not to mess it up. Seeing canvas through there, and that's bugging me. There we go. All right. So the neck's curving around right here. Its fingers are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I don't know why I keep trying to give him an extra finger. There's the edge of his chin, his jawline. All right, so coming around this side, we're going to give him a little bit of a highlight, but right here, trying to show some of his jawline. So let's give him shadow here, all around the edge of his hair. Inside his ear. You're just going to have a big ear, Tommy, sorry. So I'm just blending that a bit. Okay, I want to give him a little shadow. Here's eye. Right at the edge of his nose. Just a hint of a shadow under the edge of his lip. Not too much. Trying to think of the contours of his face. I need another small brush. Let's see here. Who else we got? This will be my highlight brush. So let's see here. Gonna get a bit of white. Running out of white. Get some liquid on it. And highlights. Let's see here. So his cheek. His eyelid. His nose comes down here. Back here. See if it like comes around his neck. Okay. Get my pan brush and try to blend some of that in. It's looking a little shoddy from being cleaned earlier. Okay. Might have put a little too much highlight on his eyelid, but try to blend that in. That's not too bad. All right. He's looking a little blue on his neck there, so I'm gonna let's take some of the regular color. Might need to let that dry because I think we're getting some of the background showing through. See, I'm trying to take some of the color without the liquid in it and see if that helps. See if it can bully its way through that. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay. I am still seeing some of my pencil marks here, but I'm going to try to use hair to cover that up. All right, so now I have my highlight brush. Let's put some lighter colors in here. So right at the edge of his hand, of course, where the light is coming through. And down this front edge of his arm. Oh, I got on my blue a bit. It's okay. I was planning to go over that blue a little bit anyway, wasn't I? Oh, now I got blue on my brush. See what happens when you get impatient. You don't wait for it to dry before you start the next color. So what I could do too, once it dries, I could come in and dry brush a highlight color over the edge of that. And that would give that a real definitive line. So now I'm going to switch brushes and pick up my shadow color and do the back side of his hand and down his arm. Okay, and where I run into his knee there, I have to go in and put his knee back in because I'm just going to bring this shadow color down and make it a little darker even, right along the edge here. Right there. Okay, I'll grab my highlight color, get his knee back. Whoops, too much knee. Okay, it's not bad actually. And bring the shadow in here. Okay, and we want to do our best to blend that. I'm going to need more shadow on the back of his hand. Let's see here. All right, this is a just dry, old, yucky brush, and I'm going to use it to help with the blending because that fan brush is kind of big. See, that gives it a little more control over the blending. That's good. I'm going to give him some more shadow on the back of his hand, but I don't want it to be the same color as what's on his neck, so I'm actually going to make it just a touch darker, just right at the edge. And then I need that dark color in here on his fingers where they meet. And underneath, his fingers curled. His fingers curled. Okay. I'm going to get another tiny brush so that I can go in with some bright highlights right here, top of his finger, here. Trying to add some more white to this because I want the highlight to be pretty bright. I'm going to bring in a bunch more liquid so that I can make it really flow. Oh, that's way too much on my brush. So I'm just rolling my brush in the paint to try to get some off. And why do I have such a big glop there? Okay. I love coffee, and as you can see, coffee and detail painting don't go hand in hand. All right. That's not bad. I'm going to get my tiny brush that I was using for the teeth, and I'm going to go in with the burnt sienna. Keep forgetting what it's called. I want to call it Van Dyke Brown, but that's the other brown. And I just want to really show the variance here. This pinky's getting lost. Not sure how to make that show up better. Maybe I need to wait for that to dry, so does it need to be bright white? I'm going to wait for that to dry. But I can try to do some of the shadows. So where, you get those little creases in your fingers. That's too much. Okay. So his finger goes up, over, and it curls under. This one comes along here. And we've got a little, this is his chin. A little bit of color here behind that. I don't want to do too much here. But maybe that's what I should be doing. Maybe I should be going, here's the edge of his pinky. It curves down. And you're seeing the back side of it there. I don't know why I'm struggling with it so badly. I'm going to, instead of bright white, I'm going to do just regular skin tone on this pinky. All right, I think that's helping. I've got too much of that background, or too much pinky and not enough background there. So if I do, what do I need back there? I need a real pale blue. going down into the grass. So pick up some of this grass color, which is pretty well dried out, but I think I can get some. See, I was trying to leave this really white so that it showed the boldness of the light coming through. So let me try, now that I have that in there, I'll come back in with a little bit lighter color over it. That works. This finger looks better. Okay. Gonna show the edge of his hand here. All right. Feeling better about this. Gonna come in with my dry brush. Sorry if this segment has gotten extremely long. But I said before, hands and faces are a challenge, so. All right. I think I've made this long enough. Let's stop there for now, and we can pick up and work on his legs and his hand in a little bit.